Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft to Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. Better get the cool slow, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Y'all still upset about passports? I mean, this is just really sad. I was doing a premiere of a video request talking about shattering the whole ideas that this white guy on TikTok had regarding angry black Gen Xers when one of these guys decided to come onto the chat and started to talk about how my content had changed since I made the videos shattering the narrative regarding black men traveling overseas to pursue better relationships with the so-called better foreign woman. And as I was looking to try to moderate that premiere, this guy just basically got extremely upset, and he wanted to talk about how the channel had completely changed since the days of August of 2019 and how my perspective is completely different. Well, what the viewer who was upset about things, it just shows me is really sad, is that you're still holding a grudge 5 years later after watching that passport video in 2019, and you're still on a channel watching content you don't like because you're sitting here basically wasting precious time out of your life waiting for the content to be something different, but the content has always been the same on this channel. Now, the problem I see with this viewer is that they think that because I was making talking points as related to earlier videos that things had changed, but the whole thing is I have been about black empowerment ever since 1992, and I've always been about black empowerment, and I've always focused on black empowerment, and because I focus on black empowerment and where I want to see black men and black women come together, doesn't mean that I'm going to be out here continuing to make content that is out here taking only one side in the gender wars. Because to me, the gender wars are complete bullshit, and they are a construct of white supremacy. They are a construct of white supremacy to divide black men from black women, all while getting economic benefit at our expense. And that's the thing the viewer didn't understand as related to my content, which he says changed in 2019 when I made the video shattering the narrative regarding black men and passports by taking a position where I was standing to shatter this narrative because I really care about black people, and I care enough about black people to tell black men the truth about this whole narrative that was created by white supremacy to get you to get away from black women. Now, I made that video back in August of 2019 mainly because I saw black men like Bakari Henderson winding up getting killed when they went to travel to foreign countries, and as I saw black men getting killed in these foreign countries, I wanted to shatter this narrative because I saw it being detrimental to the lives of black men as related to their intangibles of manhood. Because when it comes to the intangibles of black men, such as our dignity, our self-respect, our health, our safety, and most importantly, our freedom, we need to make those a priority. But sadly, we've got a contingent of dysfunctional black males who would put getting sexual access to a foreign woman above their intangibles, and those are the kind of males who get emotional regarding that August 2019 passport video. They got upset because they didn't understand the whole talking points as related to many of the men's issues videos that I made previously talking about things to help enrich them. No, what they did was get emotional because I looked to break a narrative that was detrimental to black men as related to their intangibles of manhood. And as they saw this narrative basically being shattered, what happened was some of these men got emotional because they were basically being spiritually convicted. And as they were being spiritually convicted, these men just started to let the devil that was in them come out. And as that demon came out on social media, we saw a monster that was just out of control as related to their behavior. And this behavior, again, was just so shocking to many people online, because I have talked to other people on social media, and again, many people were shocked and bewildered as related to this behavior that many of these black men were participating in, because these black men just went wild. I mean, basically proving the white supremacist point about the black man being a brute, basically proving the point that these black males basically lusted after women of other races and didn't understand how optically they were making the race look bad as a collective. And as I made that video, again, I was looking to help black men, but when I saw that the image of black men was actually being damaged all across the globe, that's where I had to delete all those videos and the responses, because I saw it was going nowhere, and even worse, it was making the image of heterosexual black men look bad across the globe. I mean, black men they were so in their emotions to the point about somebody telling them the truth about these narratives about foreign women, that they were just, again, proving the white supremacist point that the black man can't control himself as related to women. And I had to pull the plug not only on YouTube, but I also had to pull the plug on Free Speech Avenger, because optically, this was making black men look so bad, but the black men couldn't see that, and they couldn't see it to the point where their behavior was becoming just, again, going to just cross lines. And it did cross lines, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the whole thing is, these men didn't understand what I was trying to do with that video. They didn't understand I was looking out for their safety. No, because these men are emotional and they are just insecure, what they did was think, oh, he's talking about getting back with black women, and we don't want anything to do with black women, not understanding that the white supremacist is playing you like a puppet. He demonizes both the black man and the black woman as part of his gender war, and he demonizes both of you to have you fighting each other so he can sell you guns and butter. And as he sells you guns and butter and has you firing salvos against each other, what happens is, as you're firing these salvos, you're basically making it where the black family is falling apart, because you're in your feelings like this viewer was, and as you're in your feelings, you're not looking at the damage that you're doing to yourself. Now, that whole video basically derailed the Sean James initiative, which really was helping me get back on my feet, and it basically led to me losing 75% of my support on Patreon, which at one time was $250 a month, which in the scheme of things wasn't a lot of money, but it helped me to be able to pay comic artists and be able to start building. And I went from $250 to now $46 to $50 a month now. And most of that was because many of those black men got angry, and those black men got so angry that they wanted to withdraw their support because they thought I was looking to hurt them, but I was looking to help them. And I wound up losing a lot of Facebook fake friends that I see right now. And I had to unfriend a lot of people. I had to block a lot of people because their behavior escalated into cyberbullying, and it escalated into cyber stalking, because these folks basically were on my Twitter to the point where they were basically looking for anything to try to make an argument to say, oh, he likes white women. I mean, I had a goth YouTuber who I was talking to about, again, the goth subculture, and she would post pictures, and if I would go out here and retweet the pictures because they look really nice, they would sit there and make straw man arguments talking about you like white women, when I don't like white women like that romantically. I just like black women again. And again, there's nothing wrong with liking a woman who looks like yourself, or admiring the beauty of other women. But the whole thing is these males don't really understand how relationships work. And because they don't understand how relationships work, they basically got into this frenzy. And again, got into this frenzy all because I presented a point, again, looking out for their safety, a difference of opinion that was meant to, again, help that black man. But the whole thing is a lot of these black men, again, just filled with rage, and I basically wound up losing lots of support. I even wound up being alienated from Obsidian, who was helping me out. Again, all because I talked about black men and passports looking out for the self and safety of black men. But they sit there and say, oh, your content has changed. No, my content has never changed, because if you look at the mission of SJS Direct, the mission of SJS Direct ever since its inception, before I came to YouTube, was always about presenting positive stories about the black experience, presenting diverse stories about the black experience. And part of that mission is to promote black on black love. And promoting black on black love is something I have done in books like A Recipe for Success, which came out before I even came to YouTube in 2008. It was a part of the first ISIS I published in 2002. It was a part of The Temptation of John Haynes, which came out in 2011. Again, all these books were published before I came to YouTube. All of them feature images of black men and black women coming together. So I don't see how my content has changed. Yes, I did a lot of content that was critical of black women on my blog, Sean James Black Freelance Writer. Yes, I did content talking about black women's just dysfunctional behavior. But again, that whole content was designed to try to help black women. When I did blogs like Why Smart Men, or what was originally called Real Men Avoid Single Mothers, that was done to help black men and black women. It was designed to help black men understand you need to avoid a single mother, based on my experiences growing up in the South Bronx and seeing single mothers and their dysfunctional relationship paradigms. And it was also meant to help black women understand, don't become a single mother. No, you have a family with a man who will be the father of your children, because men out here don't want single mothers. But a lot of these guys don't understand that I make content for both black men and black women. For example, like my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Now, my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, was originally written to target a black female audience, and it was designed to build on the work on my blogs where I was talking to black women and trying to explain to them why these approaches they've learned do not work, and why these approaches to life that they've learned in our feminist society basically have them single. That book was designed to detail the talking points to try to help black women the same way I wanted to help black men by making the video Shattering the Passport Narrative. That book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, was designed to present you with all the reasons why you're failing in relationships, because one, you have the black woman who has been taken outside of God's natural order. Two, does not understand her role in God's order. Three, has bought into ideas as related to white supremacy above God's order, as related to trying to be a feminist and not a woman who serves God. And that's why that woman is single, because she is outside the order of God, looking for a man to submit to her, for a man to submit to her under the system of white supremacy. But you're never going to find a man who's going to submit to you, and a man who is looking for a woman to follow his lead. And this is what flew over the heads of black women, the same way the passport video basically flew over the heads of black men. And this basically is the reason why so many black women are still not getting the message. I mean, there were a few sisters I've talked to on social media who got what I was putting down in those classic blogs that were critical of black women. Again, not bashing, but critical, because I want you to see where your behavior is taking you. I wanted the sisters to see where their behavior was taking them. And what's really sad about this whole situation with the passport dudes is that Many of those sisters took that information and used it to improve their lives, but many of these black males continue to remain belligerent and continue to hold this grudge, all because I'm looking to present information to them to try to help them out. I mean, a lot, like one of my viewers said, some of these guys, they don't like the idea of a black man telling them something, which really takes me back to a point that was in the man crisis, because a lot of beta males, they can't stand it when a man is going out here presenting himself as an authority figure, and that was shown in the Obsidian debate that came on back in 2019. They said, oh, you're speaking with authority. Yes, I am speaking with authority. And again, speaking with authority as a man, because as a man, I want to look out for your health and safety. Want to look out for your health and safety, because I don't want to see you winding up dying in one of these countries, because these people ain't looking out for no black person in the global system of white supremacy. They ain't looking out for you in this system of white supremacy. They ain't got your back. No, you're out here looking to go out here and look to get into the skid mark jockey draws of these foreign women and put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor, looking for an easier option, not seeing the clear and present danger around you. And that's got many of these guys upset, and it's got them upset to the point where they're sitting here thinking, oh, I'm still mad at this guy for looking out for your safety. Well, maybe I should have stayed silent, and maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut and let you go to that foreign country, let you get turned out, and let something happen to you. But again, the person in me, as related to character, a follower of God, I cannot let that happen. And again, if I care about you like I care about myself, I would want to give you the information so that you wouldn't get jammed up. But a lot of guys, again, don't appreciate the fact that I was trying to present them with information, trying to help them out. No, what they are still doing is still with their grill cooking with sausages and hamburgers and fish on it. I mean, grill cooking, still angry almost 5 years later. I mean, I got one big grimace looking dude, all overweight and stuff, still got his grill cooking. Whenever he hears the word passport, he goes into stalker mode. And they got other dudes out here, they just hear the word passport basically like a Pavlovian dog. I mean, they just hear the word passport and they lose it. And it just again shows how sad these individuals are, that you sweating a guy on social media more than your own personal life. Because again, 5 years later, you would think that these guys who basically withdrew their support from my Patreon would go out here and take that little bit of money and get themselves a plane ticket, go overseas and get with those foreign women rather than be on my social media. I mean, if you got it like that and you want to get with foreign women, you would think you would just go out here and get on a plane, go get on that plane, go get with those foreign women, and stop coming to another man's social media looking to go continue to be upset with him over talking points that were 5 years old. I mean, in 5 years, you could have gone out here and got your passport, gone out here, got with a foreign woman, had a relationship with that foreign woman, and you could have even gotten married. But many of these same guys who are still sitting in their mama's basement are still watching my channel, still angry at me, and still single. And that's the thing that basically proves my point that I made in the original passport video. I mean, one of the talking points I made in the original passport video is that even though these guys go to these foreign countries to go get with these foreign women, they are still single at the end of the day. So if this foreign woman is so-called better, then why didn't you marry them? Critical question I want to ask these continuing passport stalkers: if this woman is so good, why didn't you marry her? And if this woman is so much better than black women, then why haven't you gone out here and married that woman and started a family? Because the argument that these guys like to make as related to their talking points is saying, oh, this foreign woman is so much better than a black woman because she's so much more submissive and cooperative. She's so much more respectful of you. But in actuality, she wasn't respectful of you because in many cases, if she was so respectful, you would show her respect by going out here and giving her an engagement ring and going out here and marrying that woman, or you would marry her to the standards of the Bible by coming together with that woman and make a vow under God. But when we look at these males, again, we still see that they're still single, and that was another one of the talking points that I presented in 2019 that basically shattered this narrative. Again, shattered this narrative as related to this whole passport thing. But you got guys out here saying, oh, I changed my stance. No, my stance never changed. I love black women, and I love black women enough to tell them the truth. That's why I made those critiques on my blog. And I love black men enough to tell them the truth. But it seems like the black woman can take the truth better than this black man. And a lot of these black males, again, can't take that truth. So what they want to do is make it say, oh, you changed. No. How have I changed? Again, if this is the mission of my publishing company, if this is the mission of my work, I mean, I believe in black men and black women being together. I love black women, and again, I love someone who looks like me. I love women who look like me. And again, I'm not turning on my sisters at all. I just want them to improve, and I want them to wake up and see the truth about how white supremacy is looking to separate us, to keep their gender war going, because the big business of white supremacy is war. And when it comes to foundational black Americans like myself, we are at war, like Professor Black Truth talks about, and we have to understand that part of that war, again, is selling you guns and butter to keep killing each other, because if the black population goes down, white supremacy can just erase us from the world. But this viewer, again, just shows how dysfunctional they are, because they're sitting there saying the content has changed. No, the content has always consistently been black empowerment. I mean, the videos I do about black men on the job are meant to help black men, and the passport video was meant to help black men. It was all meant to help you, but you don't want to help yourself because you want to be told what you want to hear. And if you want to be told what you want to hear, there are plenty of guys who will tell you what you want to hear. Now, I find it interesting this guy is still mad at me from 5 years ago, when in the last 5 years we've seen many other YouTubers like Ringo, like Jason Black, and Minister Jap recently, all talking the same talking points that I presented in 2019. I mean, you have many black men out here realizing that the whole passport narrative is a broken one. Many black men saying that what I said 5 years ago, and many of those black men going out here trying to tell black men these things. But sadly, many of those black men don't want to hear it. And whenever black men like Jason Black or Minister Jap go out here and try to talk to black men, they start getting on the same dysfunctional points where they want to attack those men for presenting facts to them. And even in the face of facts and evidence, what happens is these black men continue to look to move the goalpost as related to seeing those facts. And that's the saddest part of this. I mean, you have other black YouTubers giving you the same facts. You even have white guys going out here and giving you those same facts. I remember there was another YouTuber who was a white guy talking about this. Several white guys saying the same thing, that this traveling, you're going to be dealing with the same kind of woman, and dealing with the same kind of woman because female nature is universal, just like white supremacy is global. Female nature is universal, and women are going to be women no matter where you go, because hypergamy is a female nature trait. I mean, you've got guys like Coach Red Pill, Better Bachelor, and many other white guys out here explaining this to you. And I believe, Listen My Son, he's talked about Geo Mac. All of them have talked about this. But you have the hard-headed black man who refuses to listen in the face of facts, logic, and reason, getting emotional just like a woman, getting emotional just like the single mother who raised many of them, getting emotional to the point where, again, 5 years later, in the face of other men presenting you with facts, presenting you with how the dynamics have changed, presenting you with how the paradigm has changed. But instead of listening to that information and processing that information, these dudes are still in their feelings just like a female. Now, this same person, I believe, is the same one who's on Bitch Shoot, and I call it Bitch Shoot because only bitch-made dudes go over there. A lot of these racist and white supremacists go over there to hide under the guise of free speech. And this is, I believe, one of these dudes who's got a whole channel focused on me. And again, a whole channel focused on a guy and not on his own self. And this dude basically wants to talk about how I have changed and I'm a social justice warrior now. I mean, how am I a social justice warrior if I'm out here talking about empowering black people? Again, that was my mission ever since 1992 when I was about 17, 18 years old. And I'm a social justice warrior because I want to stand up for black empowerment. No, I'm not a social justice warrior because I want to stand up for black empowerment. No, I stand up for black empowerment no matter what I'm doing. I have been standing up for black empowerment. And again, I have always been about black men being with black women because that's what I grew up with. That's the media I grew up with shows like The Cosby Show. That's what I grew up with, my literature and my art. I always grew up with black people loving black people, grew up seeing black people loving black people marrying black people. But you got a lot of spellbound black folks who got it all twisted because I talked about men's issues to empower black men. Again, even though I was making criticism of black women, it was out of love. But it's clear to me that there are some black men out here who have some serious issues as related to black women. And those serious issues basically are showing me where these guys have gone off on the deep end and clearly show me that some of these dudes ain't ready for no relationship with any woman of any race. And I talked about that in the live stream a couple of years ago. I said some of these dudes ain't ready for no relationship with no woman. And that was shown in a Jason Black live stream where he basically cooked a dude for going out here and saying that he was looking at porn at 6 years old. I mean, these are the kind of guys who say that they want a passport because black women are so ratchet and raggedy, when in actuality, what's causing you to attract these kinds of women or even approach these kinds of women has to do with the issues with that man. And that was the point that I made in that first passport video that I had to take down and delete, that is now on Bitch Shoot right now. I mean, I was making the point that these men, basically the problem is with them, and that's what I believe spiritually convicted these men and has them still going berserk almost 5 years later. Because as I looked at these males, a lot of them that say that they need to go overseas, what the problem is that these men do not understand their role as a man, do not understand their role as a head, and are not really in a position to lead. And that's the big problem that I'm seeing as related to this erratic and out of control behavior, because you're sitting there obsessing with another man who made a video 5 years ago, but you ain't getting in the face of Jason Black, you ain't getting in the face of Minister Jap, you ain't getting in the face of Ringo. No, you ain't getting in their faces because you think that those men would possibly beat you down in the street, or they would basically dismiss you as the punk that you are, but you get in my face because you think that I'm weaker than they are, not understanding how strong I actually am. And I have the strength of character to tell you that there's something wrong with you, tell you that there is something wrong with you, because there's something not clicking inside of the minds of an individual who gets triggered when he hears the word passport, or goes still continuing to stalk another man's social media. Because again, if you disagree with a man, what most men do is they go out here and they click out of the video, and if they don't like the content on a channel after about a month, they unsubscribe for the channel and keep it moving. I mean, that's what I did for many years if a content wasn't something I liked. Even in the days of television, I remember watching the Drew Carey show, and I liked that show when it first came on, and Xena Warrior Princess. I watched both of those shows, but when I saw the direction of it changed, what I did with Drew Carey is I just simply stopped watching it. With Xena, I stopped watching it and I moved on because I understood my time is precious and my time in my life is precious and I can't get it back. So I'm not going to waste my time watching content I don't like, watching people I don't like, and watching stories that I don't like the direction of on television. And I'm not going to sit here watching YouTubers whose content I have an issue with. I'm not going to waste my precious time watching that content. And I do the same thing on other social media. I mean, if somebody's posting up pictures of content I don't like with Tia Mowry after she announced her divorce, I basically stopped following her. And there's a couple of other people I just stopped following them because I understood my time is too precious to sit there and get upset about somebody else. Now, I will go out here and talk about Halle Berry or somebody like that because I want to critique them and I see a lesson that women and men can be taught. But if you're an out-of-pocket, disrespectful person, again, I'm just going to charge you to the game. And I did that back in 2019 when I unfriended people, when I blocked people, because I understand my time is precious. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys out here are beta male stalkers with this passport stuff. I mean, proving David Carroll's point about them being beta male stalkers, because only a beta male is going to sit there and try to get you to keep going and watching content they don't like, because females, whenever they don't like someone, what they do is keep watching them, hoping that they can find some information to dig up. And what I'm finding is sad is that these guys, just like the Coffee Comics guy, basically showing me that they've got some sort of issue as related to their mental health, because normal people don't go out here and watch content they don't like. They don't sit there harboring a grudge for 5 years. I mean, think about it. In 5 years of your life, I mean, from 2019 to 2024, I mean, in that time, I have gone on to, again, have to deal with not only the COVID, with being canceled by black men and having to try to rebuild my channel. I've also been working and building making my first 2 comics, Esteem No Good Deed and John Haynes at Death's Door, and I've continued to publish multiple books, including a follow-up to The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and Stop Simping in Cyberspace, along with multiple ISIS, Esteem, and John Haynes series books, and my novel Eternal Night. I mean, I have been putting in time on work, and this guy, again, still sitting there angry with the grill, cooking up sausages and fish and hamburgers and all sorts of shish kebabs. I mean, grill cooking, still sitting here watching channels. And then one of these other guys, again, sitting up here making a channel about another man. I mean, this is, again, what David Carroll talked about when he was alive as related to the effeminate and basically possible, suspect behavior, because this behavior is sexually suspect. I mean, normal men, we don't do these kinds of things. No, we don't make channels watching another man's content. If we disagree with them, we don't go out here and be out here stalking somebody's Twitter, looking for pictures to dig up dirt. We don't go out here and get upset about a guy's opinion about foreign women. No, if a guy hears something, he just clicks out and keeps it moving, goes and gets on the plane and goes out here and gets with those women and doesn't really care about what some guy on YouTube says. No, the kind of behavior here that we have is the kind of behavior that really this person needs a mental health examination. They need to basically be on some medication of some type, because again, you coming into another person's content, as I'm talking about this white racist who's talking about an angry black Gen Xers, to go into this whole rant, which makes me think that this possibly could be one of these beta white guys or one of these beta black guys. I mean, again, there has to be some sort of issue that you're upset about an opinion that you don't like regarding black men and passports. I mean, why would a white person be concerned about black men traveling overseas and say, oh, the content has changed? No, again, I will repeat it once more. The content has not changed, and the content is not changing. No, the content has been consistent for the last 12 years. The content has been consistent ever since I came here. I've been about black empowerment, but the whole thing is that some people, they want to go out here and talk about, oh, it's not red pill anymore. No, the red pill has been rendered obsolete because many of the males basically show how dysfunctional they are on seeing the truth. I mean, the red pill, again, was originally supposed to open your eyes to see the truth, but when these guys saw the truth, they went back to, again, deny the truth, and as they had their addiction to what they thought was red pills, they didn't want to see the reality in front of them, and that's why the entire manosphere crumbled, because many of these men didn't have the discipline and resolve to remain strong. So I listen to a lot of these guys out here, again, getting upset about that black men and passports, and again, shows how pathetic they are, because in 5 years, again, I have published multiple books. I have tried to make as much progress as I have, and I'll continue building the SJS Direct imprint, continue to build the audience that I lost back in 2019, where I was on my way, I believe, to possibly going to the 100,000 subscriber mark, but the whole thing is people didn't want to hear that truth, and I continue to persevere, and as I go to the 17,000 mark, as I had to rebuild everything, as related to rebuilding the entire platform, I just had to, again, continue to persevere, even in the face of stress and anxiety and other issues that I've been dealing with, as related to dealing with all of this kinds of drama, like this whole passport drama. I mean, I have been out here, again, continuing to push, continuing to follow God and keep going, and when He told me to keep going, and I keep going, hoping to, again, break this truth down, because, again, that passport video was never meant to hurt these black males. No, it was meant to help you, because in the last 5 years, we have had many black men wind up losing their lives, and I remained silent and didn't make any videos about them because I know how crazy these dudes are. And we have seen countries like the United States tell men in Colombia not to go to Colombia because we had 8 black men wind up dead in that country, but you still have spellbound black males out here still talking about they want to go get their passport, want to go overseas and get with the foreign women, continue to follow an outdated narrative that white men themselves have said is no more, because they see female nature. They also see women on the internet really watching these dudes like Austin Holloman basically get themselves punked out to the point where the nation of Brazil is no longer an option. I mean, you still have black males still upset about passports. You have them still stalking my channel, again, showing how pathetic they are, because in 5 years, you could have had yourself a foreign wife, and you could have had a foreign wife to prove my talking points wrong, but you're still on my channel out here, still continuing to watch another man. Again, that's sexually suspect behavior. Sexually suspect because ain't no grown man sitting up here watching no other man who's straight. No, a straight man will sit there and say, okay, I watched this channel, and I don't agree with what he's saying right now. I don't like what he's going, and just leave. But when you got somebody who's got serious issues, they sit there and they go on to other platforms when they hear stuff that they don't like. And I don't know what triggered this dude that shows me that he's basically a self-hater and an individual who hates black people, because when I made the video talking about Gen X and black people and why we are not what this white guy says, something must have triggered it in him, and again, shows how he's just basically twisted at this point. Shows me how twisted he is, because he's going to sit here and watch this over what I believe 40-plus minute video, watch a 40-plus minute video of a black man talking about a narrative that he should have been moved on from, because again, in 5 years, you should have gotten laid multiple times if you had a good job and some good money. In 5 years, you should have gotten with many women, and you shouldn't have been sitting on my channel watching me. You should have been living life in the real world, and that's what this guy just doesn't see, because this dude is just completely pathetic. Now, if you want to help me rebuild my support on my Patreon and get it back to the way it was, you can drop a monthly donation to the Patreon by clicking the links in the description box. Or if you want to continue to help out support, you can drop a donation to the Cash App, where I get 100% of that money, by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to help continue to build the SJS Direct imprint, you can pick up many of the books that I designed to help black men, such as those nonfiction books like Stop Simpin' and The Man Crisis, or you can pick up some of the positive black fiction on the SJS Direct universe, like the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my black sorority novel, Thetas, and my black vampire novel, Eternal Night. You can find all those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.